We are thrilled to have you join us as we explore the incredible story of the MCP revolution. Before we dive in, let's consider a few questions. Do you think MCP is a new API? Will MCP replace APIs? What exactly is MCP? Why is everyone talking about it? Why, or even Microsoft, Google, and everybody else using MCP in their system? Start there. Now, let's begin the story. Welcome to another session on MCP hands-on. So here we are going to make our hands dirty, and then we are going to create an MCP server, and we are going to use this MCP server to do a lot of tasks in GitHub. So along with me, we have Rahul from the Nielsen, a senior AI scientist, and Kirtana, she's a DevRel, and along with us we have Sejal, so she'll be parallelly doing these exercises along with us. And so from my side, I'm an AI solutions manager from ZMI Holdings, which is part of ADNOC, and on top of that, I also part of the Gartner Research Circle. And in addition to that, I also I am also part of the Google Cloud and NVIDIA community member. And in addition to that, the most prestigious one, I'm the global AI delegate for United Arab Emirates from the GAFI. And here with me, we have Rahul.
Hey, hi guys. Hi Chandra. Hi Kitana. So we are excited again to join you for the great and one and only MCP integration with our GitHub Copilot session. So looking
Yes.
forward for along with.
So along with us, we also have Mr. Eskid. So he will be basically so curious to know this MCP, and then he wanted to execute this MCP along with us. And he's part of the digital info, and there is an agentic scientist, and he's building a lot of agents across all those things, and he's also trying out multiple MCP servers. So he's just curious to know more and implement it over there.
Hi Chandra, thank you for having me.
And we also have Kirtana. Yeah, Kirtana.
So it's not so exact to share the experience.
Yeah, so now let's
Thank you
get
guys
started.
for having me back.
Yep, sure. Thanks a lot, Kirtana, for joining with us, Rahul, and then Mr. SK. So now what we're going to do is let's start it off with the actual actions. So now before we start it off, let me share my screen and then give you the recap of what we have done in our previous session and what we are going to build in this session. So if you want to start this lab along with us, you just need to do a simple thing. Just come to this session, or even in our YouTube channel, you'll be able to find this link. So here in this post, so in this particular comment, you'll be able to see the MCP with Copilot hands-on Mega Lab Git repository. So open this Git repository. Here, you'll just read this file and you will have. So this is with the module 1, steps how to do it, and what we have done. And then this is module 2, which is getting started with the GitHub Copilot. And these are the things that we have done in that. And once you have done the module 1 and module 2, you are all eligible to do the MCP server with the GitHub Copilot. So it is a preparation, it's a prep up for the most important thing. So first you will, in the module 1, you will understand the basics of GitHub, and then creating a branch, commit a file, open a pull request, and merge your pull request. Then in module 2, we will integrate GitHub Copilot with the VS Code in Codespace, and we will do some tasks and try out all the capabilities of GitHub Copilot. And then we will get into the most important and craziest module, which is integrating MCP Server with GitHub Copilot. And here we are going to do the multiple steps, and I will not tell you. Let's do it right now. So what you need to do is, for this step, just come to this section, and exactly in the module 3, you just need to click on this particular link, which is integrate MCP with Copilot. So once you click on this, so it will take you through, it will bring you to this GitHub repository, which is basically a skills is the account owner, and then integrate MCP with Copilots. So now what you need to do is, it's very simple at this moment. Just completely come down here. So you will be able to see this particular button, which is copy exercise. Just click on this and copy this. And so this will allow you to create a new repository in your own GitHub account. So here in this case, this is my account, which is this, and you have to make sure this repository you're creating in your account. So I have this skills integrate MCP with Copilot. A repository name is available, and make it public, and right away create it. And once it's created, and that's where the actual action starts. So now let me open the repository. Let's start off with the section 1. So Kirtana, can you let us know what we're going to do here now, before even we start off with the exercises? Okay, Rahul, is it audible for you?
Yeah,
So can you
actually, I
start
can.
it off?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, in the step one, we are going to introduce to MCP and environmental setup, how to set up the MCP environment. And so basically what we will be covering in this section is we will try to learn what is model context protocol first of all. And then we will also look into the how MCP is integrated with the GitHub Copilot, means how the orchestration layer, the MCP is conceptualized as an orchestration layer
Exactly.
and a central intelligence hub designed to gather, process, and provide relevant context to AI coding assistants like our GitHub Copilot.
Yep,
So
that's brilliant.
this is
So
what
now,
you're going to
yeah.
say.
So
Yeah.
now what we're going to do now here is, so before we start up with the exercise 1 and doing all those things, I'll just want you to give a quick run through of this environment, so that we will be using this later stage. So the tabs, the tools that we are going to use from the GitHub here is, one is, if you click on the code tab on the header of the GitHub, header menu of the GitHub, you will be able to see the repository. Then if you come to the issues, and this is where once you create your new repository which has been copied, so this is where you will see all the types of issues, and normally we will write the issues here, so that we will fix all those issues, and we'll develop those and merge it back into the main repository, and that's what the plan. So this is where you'll be able to see the entire issues, and once you complete these exercises, this will automatically get updated using a CI/CD concept, which is again the actions. So the actions are where you'll see the workflows, and this basically a kind of CI/CD pipeline. It is connected from your code space that we are going to create with this GitHub account. Okay, and if you want no detail, just watch the module 1 and module 2 video, which has been added in the comment section of this particular webinar, that in the YouTube too. Then you have the pull request. So after creating your separate branch, you have to merge it back. So you have to create a pull request and merge it back to the main branch, and that's how we maintain the uniformity in the main branch. So then projects. So now let's get back to the code, and here you will able to see to switch over the branches. At this moment we have only one branch, so that branch has been visible. If you have another branch, next branch will be visible here too. And here, this is where you can create a file or upload a file into this particular repository. Now if you come here, you have two options. One is local, another one is code space. Local is the GitHub local space, this space, exactly what you see on the screen. And but when you click on code space, this leads to the cloud space of the GitHub. So this will provide a cloud development environment. So what we're going to do now exactly at this moment is to create a code space immediately. That should be our first target here. So we are going to create this. So Mr. Eskid, are you there? Rahul?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm able to hear you.
Okay, I think we need to continue. So in
Yeah, I'm going
this,
to follow.
so are you excited, Mr. Eskid, for this
Of course,
exercise?
of course.
Are you curious to know what we are
Yeah,
going to talk about?
yeah, I'm very much
So
excited to see
Rahul,
what MCP is capable of.
exactly. So before even we create something about the MCP, we just need to know about MCP properly. So for that, you can watch our course. We have already made a detailed course on what is MCP and how to implement it. That link also will add it in the comment section. However, for the sake of this lab, I would request Mr. Rahul to take us through MCP. What is MCP, why it's required, why it has become a brilliant aspect, what is the MCP architecture? Can you take us through so that SKID also can be enlightened?
Yeah, sure. So in this context, right? So MCP is the main thing that we are going to use, right? So it stands for the Model Context Protocol. So what it actually means is it is like a orchestration layer or a
Yeah,
central intelligence hub. So its primary purpose is to enrich the A understanding of the developer's task. Uh, so allowing it to offer more accurate, useful, and context-aware suggestions. Okay.
yeah,
So so what does it actually? How does it actually work? So it acts as an intelligent uh, uh, intermediate thing that bridges the gap between the developer's integrated development environment, which is called IDE, with an AI assistant, right? So it will streamline the flow of information to make AI assistant more effective and the developer's workflow more fluid.
yeah, exactly. So just to add it, so you have made a brilliant point. So now just to add it to Rahul's point, so the fundamental, the reason to make this MCP is the name it says, the model context protocol. So what you have with you is a brain, which is a large language model, or probably you have an AI application which is run based using your LLM API, okay, whatever it is. So now, but unless you provide a context to this LLM or this brain, it won't perform as you are expecting. So that's where the Anthropic is what Anthropic was researching in a big time, saying that we need to do this in a much better way, much faster way, much simpler way, in a much repetitive way, so that we don't need to spend huge amount of time, huge amount of code to write, to add a context, because before also we were able to do it. Rahul and Mr. Eskid, if you remember, we have worked on a project called Avarta Life, which has used the function calling, which has used the tool calling, which has used the API calling, and we have connected our model is able to speak to the Google Maps API, is able to speak to the YouTube API. We have done it without MCP also. But the point is, for every tool calling, for every function calling, for every action, we had to write a huge piece of code. And that too, it is not that the written piece of code cannot be packaged and use it for everywhere. So that's the problem they want to solve. and they solved it, and we are very, very thankful for them, because this has brought a different type of revolution. So that's the reason the name itself is called Model Context Protocol. This is the protocol which adds context to the model. That is MCP. USB-C, USB-D, these all things will come later. The fundamental reason for the naming of MCP or the understanding of MCP is this is a protocol which adds a context to your large language model or to the AI application. That's the simplest way of understanding the MCP. Anyway, technical aspect, Rahul has already covered it, but from the proper understanding, that's what I was saying. So now when it comes to the architecture, MCP is fundamentally works on a client and a client and service. Basically, you will have the client and server based architecture. So here, if you see, you need to have a host, and that host should host your client. So now that client can be a large language model such as Anthropic Claude, or that client can be a small agent that you have built using a OpenAI API or Gemini API, or that client can be a GitHub Copilot agent. Example, we are going to use a client which is GitHub Copilot agent. So that client can be anything, but which should be fundamentally a large language model based or intelligent agent. Now, this is gonna speak to your either databases or a GitHub kind of version control management systems, or Git version control systems, and you have a Slack, you have a Figma. So it could be any type of end application. But your MCP, using your MCP, building an MCP server, you will able to speak to these things in their own language. Now, what happens? Let's imagine in this example, developer is the end user who uses it. He speaks in a natural language in English. Okay. Now, the GitHub Copilot is our client. Of course, if you know the GitHub Copilot is our client, our host is GitHub Codespace. That is already being created here. You can see this here. It's been created here. Now, what is our client? Our client is, you see that the Copilot which has already been set. If you are unable to set it, please watch module 1 and module 2 and set it up and rewatch this. So now my GitHub Copilot in agent mode is my client. GitHub Codespace is my host. Now I'm gonna speak to GitHub. At this moment, for this exercise, I'm gonna speak to GitHub. Which GitHub? My GitHub account only. Slack, Figma, I'm not speaking. Only with my GitHub account. So now I will have to write an MCP server. So this can connect with GitHub through unique API. And this MCP server can speak to my GitHub Copilot agent, which is a client, and do all things to in a natural language way. So what is going to happen here is, before we move into that, I am developer, I am the one writes a prompt saying that create 10 issues in GitHub Copilot agent, and this will speak to the model context protocol in the English language using unified API. And this here you will have an MCP server. This MCP server is gonna speak to the GitHub in the language it can understand, and it will execute the tasks for you. And that's what the entire flow. Is it clear, or do you have any doubts? Anyone?
No, it's clear.
Okay, perfect. So now let's directly get into the action. So if you see the step 1, is our environment setup. So we have explained all those things. Let's get into the action. You will have to make sure you have everything ready with you. Okay, so that's what the most important thing. Now please check whether your environment is completely ready or not. So that's the most important thing. So let me click this in a preview mode and just click on this exercise. Just keep it ready there too. Okay, so now just a pre-check. You make sure you are in this GitHub code space, and next check to go to the extensions and check whether your GitHub Copilot is already installed or not. It's been installed. If it is, then you just check Python from the Microsoft has already been installed or not. If it is installed, just close this one, extensions, and come here. You will able to see on the header of the VS Code in the code space and Copilot icon. Just click on the Copilot icon and you will get this menu, and click on the open chat item, and that will opens up a right window on the VS Code of the GitHub code space. And so this is how it looks. And here if you see this particular chat window, we call this as a chat window. If you see this chat window and if you click on this drop down, you have three options. One is ask, agent, edit, but now we are going to use Copilot as an agent mode. So now Copilot as an agent mode is our client. This is gonna do things for us. Now, if you want to do some things, what you require next stage is to set up an MCP server. So that's what is important. So now let's add the GitHub MCP server. Now, to do that, what you need to do is you just need inside your code space. Of course, we have already opened the Copilot chat. And then the next important thing is if you see here on the file explorer inside your code space in the VS Code, click on the explorer and you will able to find an .vs code folder. Can you see this? So just click here and create a new file with the name mcp.json. So that's the first step. We are starting to set up the MCP server. So mcp.json. Okay. So now we got some ready-made code. So what we need to do is now we just go to the exercise and just copy the entire MCP server, which is already the JSON configuration, which is already available. And let's get back to the exercise and just simply paste it over here. Okay. So just paste it over here and keep it there. Okay. So now this fundamentally consists of the information about servers. You see this particular one. If you understand the JSON language, you will able to see the servers. Within that you have another object. We have the GitHub server. So in this you can write more number of servers, but at this moment we are using GitHub server only. Okay, only we are using the GitHub server. So, and the GitHub server, some tools has been already written within that GitHub server piece of code. So here we are just adding it and integrating with our environment so that we are able to use it. So that's what it talks about. Now, so what next we need, what else we need to do? So you just keep it here and say Control S, which saves this file. And then immediately what you need to do is you just need to expand the VS Code terminal panel, which is fundamentally, I'm talking about this. So you have your VS Code terminal panel here. Okay. And here we just need to get the GitHub token, because if you have a GitHub token, we can integrate this with this one here so that we can connect our GitHub account with the MCP server. So now what I'm going to do is, if I hope you guys are able to follow up. If you can, just let me know in between. So I'll say just echo, and I'm going to use dollar and then GitHub underscore token. And that has given my GitHub token. So what I'm going to do now here is I'll just copy this. And take some sticky note, just place it here for our benefit. Of course, we can put it in Notepad too. So let me add it in Notepad. Yeah. So here I'm going to paste it. So that's it. I hope you're able to do till this step. So now what we're going to do is, now we need to connect the GitHub server, GitHub MCP server with our GitHub account. So for that, what we are going to do is exactly in this file. Can you see this? In this file, below the server, you're able to see one button called Start. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Start button. And so that's where, so you just click on the start button and then you can provide the token. So this has just informed the GitHub Copilot of the MCP server's capability. So I'm just entering. Basically, we are just configuring it with the GitHub token. So now what will happen is, in spite of directly adding GitHub token here, we are using an environment variable. That's it. I hope you got the point here. Now you're able to see here, the GitHub token has been added as an environment variable. Clear? So far, so good. Can we move ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. So now if you see this status has been changed to the running now, because we have started and we have integrated that. Now our MCP server will be spinning in the backend. So now, so the basic level of configuration is done. Now what we will do is just to test it. In the Copilot side panel, you see this. This is our Copilot chat side panel. I'm just drag it a bit here. So just need to click on this tools icon. Okay. And so these are the built-in tools with the Copilot. But as you scroll down, these are the MCP server tools which has been built. So these are the custom tools which are part of MCP server, which are part of GitHub MCP server. Can you see how many we have? How many
Yeah, there are
tools we
quite a
have?
lot. Yeah.
Quite a lot. So more than 77. Of course, some of them are built in. So we have a huge number of tools here. So that these are the various capabilities of MCP server, and these are all written. And these many tools it consists of the single MCP server, and this can be used by anyone once you build it, just with a bit of configuration like this. How brilliant it is. Are we able to
Fantastic.
get the power? So now let's try to do much bigger things. So these are the additional capabilities. Now what we can do is, so now we have done some changes to we have created mcp.json, right? And then we have configured with our own GitHub account using the GitHub token. So now let's try to commit and push these changes to the main branch directly. So of course, normally pushing changes directly to the main branch is not a recommended practice, but as this is an exercise, we will do it. But normally you create a separate branch, push it over there, and if everything is fine, then only you will merge it back to the main branch. But as this is an exercise, we are directly pushing back to the main branch, but this is not a recommended practice. Okay. So now what we're going to do that. So let's try to commit and push it. So either we can write a piece of code to commit and push it, or second one is you can use a copilot in terminal that can do it for you. Or the third option is very simple. Just come here and on the sidebar, you will able to see the vertical menu. On that, you will able to see the source control icon. Just click on that icon. So if you are not so clear about what commit message you want to give, just click on generate commit message with Copilot. It will understand the context and it will add a nice, brilliant message for you and add initial configuration for GitHub MCP server in mcp.json. Brilliant. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just click on commit as would like to stage all changes and commit them directly to the main branch. Now it's time to sync the changes to the main branch, origin main, and that with this, we are done and dusted for the first task. So once this is done, just get back to your exercise and just check the status of your update, whether it's been done or not. And as I've told you, this is part of the GitHub Actions. It's a CI/CD pipeline. Once you complete your exercise in the code space, and here this has been reflected. So what is the trigger? The commit and push is the trigger to run this CI/CD pipeline, which is nothing but your GitHub Actions. Clear? Now let's get back to the step two. Rahul, what are we doing in the step two? I think this is the most important thing and what we are going to do here. Just curious.
So in step two, we are going to activate the agent mode and an MCP server for the GitHub. So how do we do that is the same way, like the MCP server is available now, so we can now ask the Copilot things beyond just our code. For example, we can just start searching issues considering description, comments, and likes, and to open, update, or close issues or another repository. That also we can do. So similarly, we can do a set of things.
Yeah. So do we have Eskid with us? So then, so we'll quickly jump into the step two and we will
Mhm.
use the MCP servers tools. So, and we will run all these tasks through agent. So we won't be doing anything manually. Let the agent do for us using MCP server tools. Are you excited for this?
Pretty much.
Let's write a prompt and let the MCP do for you.
Yeah.
Let's get into the action straight away. So let me pull it here and make this. Yeah, so let's put our major focus on the chat window of the Copilot chat. So now here, what we're going to do is, so if you have any files open in the code space explorer, just close it and keep this canvas empty. Okay. So because if you keep any file open here, let's imagine the license one, this will be automatically added. So this we have already discussed. How will we add a context to the Copilot? By opening these files or by drag and drop all that information we have discussed. So try to close all these files so that there is nothing in the context of this Copilot agent. So now, once you ensure this, the next step you need to make sure here is because ensure that the Copilot chat panel is open and agent mode. This is very, very important. Agent mode is selected. So now verify the MCP server tools are still available. So now it's agent mode and here just click one more time and just cross check whether your MCP server tools are available. And absolutely you have all the MCP server tools like add issue, comment, add a comment to the specific issue in GitHub repository, create a branch, create a new branch in the GitHub repository, create issue, create a new issue in the GitHub repository. So you have a whole lot of tools. So all these tools are reusable. This MCP server itself reusable. That's the brilliant thing. So now what are we going to do first, Rahul? So let's ask Copilot. Let's ask Copilot to search GitHub for projects similar to this one. Let's do it. So let's not go and search and do all those things. Just sit here, just give a command to our GitHub Copilot agent. And this is our client. This is going to speak to the server, and the server will execute all the services and bring it back and give it to the client, and client will show it to us. Let's wait and watch. Are you ready
Yeah.
to execute your first MCP server based task? So let me execute, but make sure it is in the agent mode and your tools are available. That you have to make sure. So now let me pull this a bit this side so that my chat window, my Copilot window is clearly visible. It has already started. If you see the first step, so ran search repository using GitHub MCP server. It is using the tools. Now it has used, here are some public GitHub repositories related to organizing extracurricular activities. Because if you remember, so this is our project. Our project is to organize the extracurricular activities. And here it is. Now, within that, the exactly similar repository has brought three. One is from Avishkar, another one is from portfolio Rohan Yadav, and then other one is from Harshit Agarwal, something who would have done similar kind of projects. How is it? Your agent has done things for you.
Amazing.
That's brilliant. So now what next? What's next? Because now I'm much excited to you know explore the capabilities. What's next? What will we do next?
So next we'll be asking the Copilot to look at the code for the third option and give me the detailed description of the features. So we'll ask the
Exactly.
description features.
So the next thing that let's what we're gonna do is, when an MCP tool is required, so Copilot will fundamentally ask for permission, because and verify the request and modify if necessary, then click and continue. So that's what the normal process it follows. It will like human in the loop. Okay, so that's what the point I want to highlight. Now, as Rahul was already mentioning, the next task is to ask Copilot to describe one of the projects that it has brought until it finds something like. So now what we are going to do is, let's try to say, please, let me write it in. Please, can you help me out this? Please look at the code for the third option, because we have the third option, which is portfolio Harshita Agarwal, and give me a dedicated, or we can go with the detail, give me a detailed description of the features. So let's see what it's going to do. We have not given it specific context. So it's ran get file or directory contents GitHub MCP server, and again it's ran a get file or direct content GitHub server. So it's running it multiple times, and let's see. So it is able to. Okay, let's go through it. You see that the third option is Harshita Agarwal's academic, and so basically, you can see the entire information about this particular website, what detailed features based on the code and content. So what features it has, what pages it has, and all that information has been fetched and explained in a brilliant way. So all those things we used to do before, and then an agent, a Copilot agent with an MCP server is doing much more superior than us. Are you curious to check more capabilities of MCP server?
Definitely, definitely. We will get the other capabilities.
So what's next now?
So let's check whether the Copilot can compare the features to our project, which would be
Yes.
new. New.
Okay, brilliant. So we'll do it. What we'll try to do is now, see, these are all the things as a human, as a developer, we used to do before. Now we are using this agent and we are telling it to do and we'll review it. Okay. So that's where we have positioned at this moment as a developer. So what I'm gonna do at this moment, I'm gonna say, please, of course, you don't need to say please to LLM, but let's treat it as another human being. So please compare these features to our project, which would be new. Would that be fine? Basically, we will use Copilot to compare and generate ideas for enhancement. So just compare all these features to our projects and which fundamentally would be new. So let's see what it's gonna do. And tools, it is using tools and it's doing all this thing for us. So when you're building some website or some application, you can get inspired from already existing similar websites or similar applications, and that's where, and you don't need to go and search and get all those things. Your MCP server with Copilot agent can do these things. How brilliant it is, Rahul.
Yeah, it's perfectly working very well. So we
Yeah,
are able
see
to,
now. Yeah, continue
yeah.
please.
So whichever feature is not there in our project, so it's doing the respective tool calling and then bringing those uh, functionality and showing it us.
Exactly. So it has clearly distinguished between the two projects. These are the features in our project, which is fundamentally we have the APIs for activities, and you have these endpoints basically. One is get, another one which is REST, REST, representational state transfer, stateful transfer REST, and then we have the data model and we have the simple web UI. This is what is about our project, and these are the features their project have. Now, new features are can be adopted for our project is either user profiles or experience timeline, project showcases, contact or networking, visual enhancements, and then we can also add skill badges or coding profiles. So how brilliant it is. It has reduced a huge amount of work. See, any developer who's when he's building some website or some application, he would like to take some kind of inspiration from the existing applications. Is it not true?
Definitely, yeah. Every developer would love to do that.
How much time you would be spending, because we have done it, you have done it, we have been doing it. Now this can do it for us. We should be happy for having something similar to this. Now let's get into the next, what we are going to do next. What we are going to do next.
So next task is to create an issue for this in our repository.
Yeah, this we supposed to do it manually. Now what we are trying to do is,
Do it
it's
using
an entire
MC.
process. First, we have identified a similar projects and we have cross-verified what all existing features can be added. And now what I'm telling my agent is, please, all these additional features that can add to my website, add it as a issues in my GitHub account so that I can develop them. And once I develop it and successfully test it, I can close them. And this is how a normal developer work in his life. And an agent can help us do all those things. We should be thankful. Shall we do that now?
Yeah.
So please, so what we are not, what I'm going to say is, I like it, whatever you have given. So let's create issues for these in my repository. Is it fine? Shall we go ahead and click? And let's see the magic. MCP is in action, not you. Rahul, you have to sit and watch, and MCP is gonna do. So of course it will take your permission because you are the boss. Now everybody can become their own boss. So let me, what I'm going to say is because it's going to create multiple issues. So the best practice is always just make sure the issues is everything is correct or not. It's going to create a new issue in your GitHub repository. So what is that? So this is your repo. Exactly correct. I'm the owner. It's absolutely correct. And then title of the issues, add user profile pages for students. And what does it consist of in the issue? So implement a feature that allows students to create and display personal profiles, including interests, skills, achievements, and profile images. So profiles should be viewable, and all this information. Label is absolutely an enhancement. So now if you're completely okay with this one, you can directly go and click continue, or else you can just do some slight changes into it, and then according to your requirement you can just click on continue. But for me it's absolutely fine. I'm gonna say continue. And this is going to, so one issue is going to be created, and now because we have multiple issues to be added, and it's going to create all those issues. For now what I'm going to do is just for the sake of this exercise and then this lab, I'm going to say always allow, so which allows all the issues one by one. It's going to create and bring it over there. So now, so if you remember, we have the Rahul. These are the new features which can be adopted in our project. How many?
Yeah.
One, two, three, four, five, six. And here are those six features. These new features inspired by the portfolio site have been created as issues in your repository. How is
That,
that?
that's really brilliant.
So that's a crazy stuff. So now what we're going to do is, so now, so Copilot obviously it has asked for our permission and we have given it and it's created all those things. Now since we are done researching, so this is basically an basic day in day out work for any developer. So he will do this research work to bring the brilliant features according to the requirements of the client. So now as we are done with the researching, let's finish this chat session to clear the context. And at the top of the Copilot chat panel, if you see here, we are here at the top of the Copilot chat panel, you can click the new chat just on the plus symbol, and this will open the new, because we have just cleared the previous context that's not required anymore. So now with the new issues created, let's go and check in the exercise. Okay, so now is this my repository? Yes, this is my repository. Correct. So now let me go back and just click on the issues and let this page gets ripped. Here it is. Your issues has been created. Now do you want to cross check with the issues, all these enhancements? Can you see this enhancement label? So these enhancement labels has been created. These issues has been created. Example, add skill badges and coding profile links, add contact and networking features, upgrade UI, the modern. Are you able to imagine? So all those things we used to do manually.
Yes.
And here it is done and dusted for you, and an agent has done it for you.
Perfect. Perfect.
So now what else we're going to do now? So we have done with this exercise, and we are able to create an issue, and we have completed the research part. So now what's next? So it's time for to do bigger things, correct?
Yeah.
So now as a step 3, what we're going to do is, let's try to solve these issues. So if you just come here and check the step 3 in this is to solve the issue. So can you walk us through, Rahul? So what is our target here? And before we actually get into the action?
So yeah. Uh, so in this step, we are going to uh, check how many issues are there and then solve the issues with the agent mode itself. We are not going to do it manually, just use the agent mode, and we are going to check how many issues are there in our repository and which are the top three issues we have to solve. So uh, and we, in case if we want to create a new branch, check out a new branch and do the
Yeah,
changes we are going to do. So we'll make
everything
all the
we
changes
are
in
not
this.
going to do. Agent is going to do. You will
Yeah,
be sitting like a boss and giving the instructions and approving it.
yeah,
Okay? Do you want to become a boss now?
yes, obviously.
So now let's use our MCP servers tools and Copilot agent to get up Copilot agent to do a bit of triage and get some work done for us. Because till now it has done the research and it has converted that features into issues and added it in a GitHub. That itself a huge work. Now let's get into the actual action. So now the first one is let's do an easy implementation on an important issue. So where we'll start. So first thing is let's make sure and ensure the Copilot chat panel is open, and this should be in the agent mode, and your tools are visible for you. So you have to verify the MCP server tools are still available. That's very important. Now, once it is available, so what we're going to do is next, let's ask Copilot about the open issues on this repository. Let's just sit here. Let agent go to the GitHub repository and check everything and come back here and tell us these are the issues are open. We will not go to the repository and check anything until everything is done. Are you ready for this deal? Do you believe in agent? I believe in the agent in MCP server. So I'm not going to check manually until it is done. So first what I'm going to do is how many open issues are there on my repository? And that's what I'm going to ask. And let's wait and see what it's going to do for us. You provide the correct repository, want a name. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So let me add the repository just quickly, just for context. And because we just moved out of this completely, just so now the MCP server is on action. Okay, I've given the wrong repository. So in this repository, I have given this repository. Of course, here there are no open issues because you can check here, there are no open issues. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the correct one, which is fundamentally, I think this is my, yeah, so this is my, so, so let me give this. So let's wait for the action. So now GitHub server is in GitHub server tools are in action. So now what it's saying, Rahul, what it's saying, are we able to pull up?
Yeah. So we are after giving the username and then repository name, we are able to see the open issues available.
So we have in total 13 open issues in the repository. So in this, so if you need a list of the titles or more details, we can get it. So now what we'll do. So the next step, as a next step, let's ask Copilot to summarize the important issues only. There are multiple which are probably fundamentally are not useful for us. So let's try to ask, oh no, those are too many issues. That's too many for me to handle. Of course, you are there to help me out. but still, please get the list of issues, review the descriptions and comments, and pick the top three most important issues, and we're gonna fix them first. So now it's it's gonna use the respective tools from the MCP server, and it's gonna fetch the most important issues for us. You see that it is running. It has run get issue comments, and it's gonna fetch it for us. And here it is. The most Rahul, what are the most top three most important issues based on the descriptions and community feedback?
Yeah, so adding filters are the most top three important issues, and then prettier interface and
Yeah.
exercise, which is integrating MCP with Copilot.
So fundamentally, according to the overall priority, so these are the most important features to be worked on first and executed first, implemented first, tested first. So these are the ones. So what we'll do is let's focus on these features. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, perfectly all right.
So now what we are going to do is let's review let's quickly review these suggested changes. One is about the adding filters, because the problem here is if there are no filters, activities are hard to find due to lack of order. Suggestions include adding filters, sorting options, and a free text search, or multiple comments support this as a high impact usability improvement. That's one. And second one is they're expecting the prettier interface. So that's the second most important one. And the problem here is the activities list is too long and hard to navigate. That's fine. That's users. And exercise and the integrate MCP with the Copilot. So these are the most important one they feel. So now what we are going to do here is uh, let's go one step ahead, and so we will say code base. Okay, these are the code base tool. Let's use, and let's rewrite it. So I'm going to use the code base tool directly. There's a built-in tool, and let's do the first one. Okay, let's forget the other issues. Let's try to fix the first one. So what I'm going to do is, I don't need this at this moment. You just go away. Okay, so follow these steps. One, check out a new local branch for making our changes. Two, make the changes, then confirm with me that they look correct. And three, push the changes and start a pull request. Clear what we're trying to do with this feature? So we just want to create, this is how we normally work, right? When you're working on any AI based project or data science based project. So we'll have
Yeah,
a main branch, and we'll try to create a new local branch and make our new changes. And then once you confirm these changes, and if you think they're correct and tested well, then you try to push these changes and start a pull request. Correct?
exactly. Yeah,
Shall can this agent do for us? Do you believe in it with MCP server?
that's what it is meant for. So we will try it out.
Let's see. I have confidence. I hope you too. So let's see what it's going to do for us. So now the entire ecosystem would be triggered, and you have the MCP host comes into the picture, MCP client, MCP server, and then GitHub, the unique APIs, everything will come into the picture. So now, based on the previous context, the first one refers to the add filters, and that's what is our focus. Add filters is the first one. So within this, the relevant code for this request will involve the front end code that displays the manages the activities list. So index.html changes, and the backend code that serve activities and could be extended to support that changes will be there. Then the data model for activities currently in memory, so that, and then a relevant css for ui changes. That's fine. So these are the overall changes will be there in that. So in app.js, it is majorly handles fetching and displaying activities, and index.html is fundamentally the structure proper. It contains the structure for the activities list, and then you have the app.py, that's our API based backend that serves the activities data, and styles.css is adding styles. So now to do all those things, the first thing what you need to do is you need to get checkout b add activity filters. So first you need to create your own you have to
Branch.
create your own branch and check out to that branch, and we'll do everything. So that agent is going to do for us along with the MCP server. We need to just give the approvals. You are the boss now. So now let's expand it and let's see whether we have entered into that, checked out into the branch. Now you're able to see, can you see this add activity filters branch? Now we are already into a new branch. Can you see here? Is it visible for you?
Yeah.
Now we are into new branch. If you want to see in a much better way, can you see this here at least at the graph? This is can you see this add activity filters? And that's where we are. The new branch has been completely created. Okay. So now what we're going to do now. So what it's saying, a new branch named add activity filters has been created for your changes. Next, I will update the code base to add filters, sorting, and search functionality for activities. I'll show you the changes before pushing and opening a full request. So now in index.html, there are a few changes, and app.js, there are a few changes, and styles.css, there are a few changes, and all those things, it is actually doing these changes at this moment. These are the code base. It has read all these files. I have not told anything. Again, we have just said you have an issue, the priority issue, just fix that issue. And we just said create a new branch and fix that issue, and it is doing for you. Is it, are you crazy? So now as a boss, you need to give the approval. That's what you have to do. So either you can go to the each file and review the piece of code, and if you think it is perfect, just approve it there, or else you just if you're okay, you can do it from the chat window. You just can click on this icon, or else you can just click on keep. This keep will approve all the edits. I'm going to do in a one click, and your all these changes will be done automatically once you approve it. So agent is doing for you, and you are reviewing and approving. The fundamental way of working is changed now. Now you are reviewer and approver. So still you need to have an understanding of the good coding language. You need to have understanding of what you're doing. You need to have an understanding of logic, of functionality. So what is the future of development, web development? Example, the future of web development and data science is very simple. Just telling for all of your benefit, the one who knows how to use these agents well, tools well. Two, the one who is expert of their respective programming languages, and the one who has a good understanding of orchestrating all those things in a nice way and doing a troubleshooting, reviewing it well, is going to rule the market. Mark my words and see me after 3 years. So now, what's next? What else we'll do now? So you have everything ready, all the code changes that you can clearly see. This is index.html, the code changes, and this is styles.css, the code changes, app.css, the code changes. Everything is ready for you. It is done. So what we'll do next, once the pull request, now we can create the, I think it's asking me, would you like to review the changes in your browser, or should I proceed to push the branch and open a pull request? What shall we do now? We have done with the review. We have done with the review. Would you kindly proceed to push the branch and open a pull request? Are you okay with it, or do you want to try something else?
But we can go ahead and then push the branch.
Not we. It's going to do it for you. So let the agent along with MCP server do. So of course, you are the boss. You are the boss. You have to approve it. That you should not forget that. So now let me just, I'm fine with this. Stage commit and push the changes for the new branch to a remote repository. It's fine for me. You just do it. And here it is. So this is the main branch, and here is that. So it's all set now. So now what it's saying is we have created a new pull request in GitHub repository. Now that MCP servers, okay, that's fine. So now I'm just checking this pull request before I approve it. So this is for the skills integrate MCP with the Copilot. The repo is correct. And title of this pull request is add filters, sorting, and search activities list UI. I'm absolutely fine with it. There's a proper description of what I'm doing, and then the body is this PR pull request, adds category filters, sorting options, and a free text search. Okay, that's fine, absolutely fine. I'm not worried about the remaining things. And head and the base is the main, absolutely proper, absolutely perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say always hello because I'm happy with the response from my agent along with MCP server, GitHub MCP server. So now, so check the current branch name to use it and as the head for the pull request. Yeah, that's fine. So let it do this, and it's running. It has opened a new pull request, and your changes have been pushed, and the pull request has been opened. So now you can review and merge it when ready. So let me know if you need any further assistance. So what else do you want, Mr. Rahul? So let's get back to this. And so what we can do, so let's see what's next. So we are set, and now let's go to step 4. So what is there in step 4 now? What
So
do you
in
want to
step,
do?
we are gonna ask to validate AI generated code. Like we are gonna
Ah,
review
that's
it and
very
then
important. Exactly, because the code is not written by you and not tested. So we cannot completely commit this code. We just want again the agent to review for us, and then probably we can go for the testing and then push it over. Okay, shall we do it now?
yeah.
So let me make this bigger so that it will be, yeah. So now we have done a brilliant work on implementing the issue. One of the issue, the priority issue, our extracurricular activities side now is going to get much better. So while what we're going to do is the next step, we have to review the merge. We have to review the code which has been generated by our Copilot agent, and we'll merge this into the entire solution. And that's what we are going to do. So for that, what you need to do, you just need to get into the here and we can quickly use the pull request directly from here. So, or the another way is, so we what we can do here is, if you open the new pull request which has been created by Copilot in tab. So let me get here and go to this repository, and this where we are working, and you'll able to see this pull request. Can you see that? And can you see this add filters, sorting, search to activities list UI? Can you see this can you see this open pull request? And that's what we have created, right?
Yeah.
So it's perfect. So now what we're going to do is we can just review all the changes, whatever is there. So you have all checks passed and there are no conflicts with the base branch. And if you see here, um, it's the commits. Here you can see the commits, and here you can checks, and then overall the file changes. And so we are all set. So we have reviewed and we are satisfied. And what we can do is we can just merge the pull request. So now, so how do you want to merge it? So do you want to do? Let's do it. Just click here and merge, and we can use the merge pull request, the exact description. We don't need to change anything. So okay, and let me merge it. And pull request successfully merged and closed, done and tested. Now let's get back to the Copilot chat again. So I don't want these files anymore, and let's close this one. Yeah. So now what we're gonna do? So now let's try to let's ask Copilot to add a comment to these issues we just finished, and to say thanks for the comments and ideas that Copilot agent has given. So as a closing exercise. So now add a closing comment to the issue we just finished, and provide a one sentence description of the implemented solution, and thank the commenters for their brilliant ideas and feedback. And let's execute it. So this is gonna use again the MCP server tools. And of course, I'm satisfied with your work. I'm just giving I'm approving you to do it. So a closing comment has been added to the issue, summarizing the solution and thanking everyone for their ideas and feedback. If you need anything else, just let me know. And so with this issue, so the closing comments also has been added. So we are able to do the entire from the research side, and then creating the issues, and then writing a code to complete the issue, and then commit and push a pull request, then merge it, and finally we are just adding a closing comments also. So we are able to do it through the agent and MCP GitHub MCP server. How brilliant it is.
So it's really fantastic to work on MCP like this without the traditional way of working. It is no more, I guess. And yeah, the way it uses the tools, and then the every single aspect that a developer do is being just done by the MCP server, and we are just gonna approve it. So All
Yeah,
these things are
exactly. So,
really.
and so do you want to explore the more capabilities because we are done with the exercise? And do you want to explore the more capabilities of it just to see what it consists of, how it consists of?
Yeah.
So it has almost 52, or so these many tools. This MCP server, GitHub MCP server has a lot of tools. So it can actually list, create, update, and close issues and pull requests, adding and viewing comments on issues and pull, managing branches, commits, search code, issues, repositories, managing notifications and reviews, accessing repositories, metadata, and user information. And it's going to fetch more information. I think it even can delete. You see that? If you come here, you can see the MCP server, GitHub tools. It can add issue comment and it can add pull request review comment, add, assign copilot to issue, and then create a submit pull request, create a branch, create issue, create an update file, create a pending pull request, and you can create pull request, create a repository too. You see that? You can create a new GitHub repository in your account. You can delete a GitHub repository account. So you can do a lot with this MCP server. So similar to that, you can create your MCP server, and once you make, once you build your own MCP server, and with that you will be able to do a lot of tasks. So just imagine a world where majority of the tasks are being done through agents and you are just being there to review it and approve it. How would this be?
Already, it's exciting to see that. If it is completely automated, then it will be amazing to watch.
So fortunately or unfortunately, we are going to get into that world. So what is your, yeah, so I think we have completed the exercise, and so whoever is following it, so once you complete the exercise, and you can share your accomplishment in LinkedIn too. But however, this is to just to know the capabilities of MCP servers. This is with the GitHub. Similar to that, you can build more MCP servers and you can do these tasks automated uh, in this passion for your tasks and for your projects too. Okay. But for now, we're done with this exercise. And before we sign off, Rahul, what is your message to these guys? Because now we have just implemented the whole lot of MCP server and used it, and you've seen the potential of it. And what's your message for the newbies who are just trying to enter into this market with the old mindset?
So basically, just 1 or 2 years back, we just had the capabilities of LLM. We were amazed to see that. But now we have the MCP capabilities, and we are literally experiencing that. So how it connects with the different APIs, and then how we are able to just prove it, and then how it is able to interact with different set of things and tasks, the interaction it does, and the whole architecture. So it brings us to a point where we don't have to take much work anymore, and you are just there to just command. So
Ex- exactly. So even my message is also similar to that. So don't be ashamed of using tools, because the one who knows to use the tool better is going to rule the market. So that's what. So never be ashamed to use the tools, but never forget your fundamentals. Your coding language fundamentals should be very strong. And in addition to that, the functionality aspect of your application or the requirements should be very strong. with all these things together, you just package it and show it, you are going to have a great run in the market as you go ahead. So that's what the serious message from our side. And thanks for joining for this brilliant MCP server mega lab. Thanks a lot, Rahul. So we highly appreciate your time and efforts for being with us and enlightening our viewers on MCP servers. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Chandra. Thanks for having me here.
So now, so just before we wrap up and sign off, I would request you to just go through these few videos that we have. So because we are also parallelly running the MCP course uh, as well as the pair web coding. Just watch the MCP course. So that is available in YouTube. So I'll add the link in the comment section. And we are also doing the pair web coding. So that's going to be the future because you should know the tools well. You should use the vibe coding tools very well. And if you do the pair web coding along with your co-partners, and this is going to be big. So just watch it. So before we leave and try to and explore those courses also. So till then, I'll see you in another fantastic MCP server session or pair web coding session. But don't stop vibing with AI. That's cool. That's vibe coding. But what if we amplify that vibe, make it a team sport? So, and we're not just coding with AI anymore. We are doing a pair vibe coding. So we call it as pair vibe coding. For me, pair vibe coding is just like conducting an orchestra. We will explore UI UX with Google Stitch and launch ideas fast using bolt.new or microsas setups.
Hey, the pair vibe coding is where the team creativity meets the AI precision. We'll harness the powerhouse like Gemini 2.5 Pro and specific Mistral AI agents.
Hello! Pair vibe coding is the next wave of innovation. Imagine crafting stunning UX with global development or diving into Web3 with multiverse as a unified team.
Hi, pair vibe coding breaks down barriers. We'll build MVPs with Replit, deploy it on Vercel, and even manage the synchronous tasks with Google's tools.